your reading skills. You'll help improve reading skills, your listening skills. And another thing, grab a pen and you can turn this into a more productive lesson. You'll be able to increase your familiarity with the exam, and just by taking notes and getting used to combining both your writing and your listening skills, which is one of the abilities you need, one of your exam skills actually, that you'll need to have quite strong in order to pass the exam. So let's jump straight into it. So how much time do you have for the exam? You've got about 30 minutes. And after that, you'll be given 10 minutes to enter your answers into the answer sheet. So after each section of the exam, you'll be given a 30-second break. Okay. And you'll be able to use that to prepare yourself for the next section. Some tutors recommend that you review your answers for the last bit. Other tutors recommend you start preparing, look over the text and try and get your mind in gear. Try and get it predicting some of the vocabulary that you might probably hear. So if you see there's lots of questions about, marine biology, then you can start thinking about marine biology. What are some of the words, some of the topics that come up? For me, I think of marine biology, think of coral reefs, dolphins, pollution, toxic plastic circle, Arctic, rising sea levels, pollution, water contamination. You see, I'm just starting to rack my brain, starting to look for possible vocabulary, possible subjects that the listening could be about. Okay, so how many parts does the test have? It's got 4 parts, and they get subsequently difficult. So you start with the easiest and then you end up with the toughest. Now, section 1, a recording of 2 people, everyday interaction, conversation. Section 2, recorded monologue, okay, possibly talking about preparation for some event. Number 3, so if it's preparation for an event, what kind of vocabulary will we be getting there? Well, we'll get scheduling vocabulary. Like, will it be on the 3rd or the 5th? Will it be next Tuesday? Will it be the day after tomorrow? You see, this kind of vocabulary, your dates, your times. So for this, you might want to review your prepositions on the 3rd, before the 12th, okay? And your ordinal numbers as well, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Now, this is crazy, okay? All my students in the past used to, everybody knows, it's Monday the 1st, Tuesday the 2nd or whatever, or Tuesday the 2nd, Thursday the 3rd, whatever. Tuesday the 2nd, Wednesday the 3rd. And everybody knows these. But so many times, if I just did an exercise with my students, I would always get, there would always be difficulties with the 3rd, the 1st. How many times? I can't tell you how many times some of my students would say the 21st of December, and it's obviously the 21st. So knowing it and actually using it are 2 different things. So get familiar with that. I mean, you could even just start ringing up other businesses and just saying, what time, what date will you be able to send over the wooden shed? Okay, or whatever. Just depends how badly you want to practice, and you can do that on Skype for pennies. So anyway, and then section 3 is a conversation between at least 2 people, probably more complex, probably talking about education or training. So what vocabulary comes up when we're talking about education or training? Learning, memorization, remembering, absorbing the information, teaching, tutor, lecturer, university, classes, timetable. all this kind of vocabulary, okay? Training session, all this kind of vocabulary, it's good to get familiar with it. So how could we get familiar about it? Well, we could listen to podcasts about education. We could start reading about education. So we could go to theguardian.com, just put into Google, guardian.com, education, and there's a whole section there, okay? And then finally, the final part of the exam is a monologue, talking about a complex subject matter, and it's usually about an academic discipline. So what's an academic discipline? Geography, history, physics. So it's going to be in quite detail. And I guess the reason why they chose this is for the students that are taking IELTS for academic reasons to go into university. So this will be a good way to determine whether whether they are at the level to go into university by doing part of the exam simulating a university class. Now I'll quickly go over the types of questions. So you've got multiple choice. That's quite straightforward. Okay. This will test different types of listening skills, maybe the understanding of specific points, or general understanding of the main recording. Okay. So there's a variety of different, there's a number of different questions for the multiple choice ones. Okay, so sometimes it might be 10, sometimes it might be 5, it just depends. And that's like that for most of the question types. Now, the second type is matching. With matching, it's basically, you've got to list the items, okay, from the recording to a list of options on the question paper. Okay, so you write the correct letter on the answer sheet. Okay, now this usually tests your ability to listen for detailed information. Okay, for example, whether you could understand the information about a train scheduling. Okay, about what time the train leaves, or what time the seminar starts, and the ability just to follow a conversation between two people, because it's going back and forth. And by the way, in those situations, when it's going back and forth, you might hear the first speaker say, okay, December the 3rd, is that okay for you? And then the other speaker might say, yes, December the 3rd, that's perfect. So then you've got 2 times that you've heard December the 3rd. And then what might happen is later in the conversation they say, no, cancel that last date. It has to be December the 5th. And even though you heard December the 3rd twice, and you even heard, yes, it's that date, it's not, okay? Because what they'll do is they'll just go back and negate what they said before. And this is a common trick, so be careful. Wait until you get the full confirmation. Okay, so you could probably pencil in this, in that case I just gave you, you could probably pencil in December the 3rd, and then unless you hear again that they said something like, cancel the last date, or December the 3rd, I can't do it, it has to be December the 5th, then go back and cancel it. Go back and change your answer to December the 5th. Okay, so that's for the matching types of questions. Now, question type 3 would be your labeling. So here you're going to label a map or a plan. Okay, could be a part of a town, could be a building, could be a piece of equipment. And here you select the answers from a list, okay, and you're writing down the correct letter onto your sheet. Okay, sometimes you'll have to put the words into the gaps. Okay, so in this case you'll have to just keep it to the word limit. And then For this one, what's really important is that you read the instructions very carefully, okay, and you follow the word limit, okay. It might say no more than 3 words, or no more than no more than a number. So that's all they want. Just put one number in there, okay. If you do go over that word limit, you will lose the mark. So be careful, you lose a point. By the way, contracted words, let's see. Okay, sorry. Where is it? Contracted words won't be tested, and then hyphenated words, like drop in, will count as single words. Okay. So it's just basically testing your ability to understand descriptions, how these connect to visual interpretations, how do they connect to the maps, to the plans, okay, and then understanding explanations and directions. Okay, so for that you will need vocabulary such as on the left, or right underneath the far corner. Okay, so that's the kind of vocabulary you need to be practicing. Now, for that, there's the number of questions, of labeling questions, varies depending on the exam sheet. Now, the penultimate one, no, it's not the penultimate one, another type, is the form table, or the form or the note summary completion. Okay, so this type, what you have to do is fill in the gaps. Okay, fill in the gaps in an outline of part or all of the recording. Okay, so the outline will focus on the main ideas. Okay, and then what you would have to do is select your answers from a list, and then write the correct letter on the sheet. Okay, so you'll also have to select words from the recording, which goes into the gaps. So it's quite similar to the other one. Okay, and you'll have to follow the word limit, but instead of it being a plan, what you'll have to do, what it is more, how would you say it, more academic or more abstract, probably, yeah. So it's like a table of numbers, might be a flow chart. Okay, it's not going to be directions. So this also tests, let's see, the main points this tests, where is it now? This tests your note taking abilities. So if it was a class, it would test sort of like how you would take your notes, how you would write them. Okay, if you were listening in like a classroom situation. So next one, sentence completion. So in this one, what you'll have to do is match the summarized sentence to the listening. Okay, so you'll have to find the correct sentence. You'll have to fill in a gap in each sentence using the information from the recording. Okay, so once again with this one, you'll have to read the instructions very carefully. Okay, also contracted words won't be tested. Okay, so this type of question focuses on your ability to find and locate the important information in a recording. Okay, you'll also probably need to find out you'll probably need to understand the relationships between ideas, events and facts, and cause and effect. Okay, so if it says so if it says this caused a lot of civil upset in the neighborhoods, yeah, then you'll probably have to find what it was beforehand, okay, or the effect of this civil unrest, okay. Can't go into it that much detail because we're a bit pushed for time now. Now, final question type is short answer questions, okay. So here you'd have to just read a question and then write a short answer, okay. Sometimes you'll be given a question which asks you to write 2 or 3 different answers, okay. This type of question just basically tests your ability to listen for facts, places, prices, prices, times, all that kind of information that you hear in the recording. You just got to extract it and then write it down. Okay, so that took a bit longer than expected, but never mind. So, what can you do before the test? This is quite simple. I mean, just do your listening exercises. One method that I'm a real fan of is the websites where you can go and type in what you hear, and then what you're doing is basically associating the words with your audio, and you're getting used to and you're getting better at combining both listening and writing skills and getting better at doing it simultaneously. Okay, now what can you do during the test? Well, first of all, make sure that you're in a comfortable position. Okay, if you're right next to a window that's open and there's a lot of traffic going by, then you can ask to be moved because of it's going to affect your test score, basically. Okay, if you've got to listen for key information and there's a lot of racket outside, then it's not fair on you, because I mean, in some exam centres they might even have headphones. Okay, so ask to be moved if that's the case, or at least ask for it to be taken into consideration. Okay, now you will need to get your focus abilities up to scratch. Okay, so you might want to go onto YouTube and check out some videos on how to improve focus. Okay, you do not want a monkey mind with your mind bouncing all over the place. You want to be able to hone in and concentrate. Okay, now before each recording starts, like I said before, have a quick glance at the text, have a quick look through, and get your predicting skills going. Okay, like we said before, start generating vocabulary, possible topics, and get your brain warmed up to that subject. Okay, now next tip, listen to the introduction. This is another opportunity for you to get ahead. Okay, because it will say something like, you will hear a conversation on 2 people organizing a conference. So what kind of vocabulary are you going to be hearing if it's about a conference? Seminar, speaker, dates, audience, microphone, volume, hall, hotel, all this kind of stuff, so you can start predicting. Okay, now next tip would be to read and answer your question while you listen to the recording. Don't leave it for later because you'll probably forget. Okay, write down what you hear, so don't change the words and don't use synonyms. Can never say that word. Don't rely on your answers being repeated. Okay, so you'll only hear the recording once and the answer will not be repeated by the speaker, so pay attention. Okay, so check your answers quickly after the recording. Don't take too much on this because the exam will be moving on to the next section. Very importantly as well, do not leave anything empty. Okay, you'll not lose points for wrong answers, so even if you've got no idea, just stick a letter there. If you do that 4 times, then the law of probability says you'll at least get one of them right. Okay. Move along with each section. All right. Don't lose yourself. And this is where the practice exam might come in handy. Don't get lost. I've seen this happen before, and it just creates panic. I used to do it so many times with my exams. I would just get lost, especially if it's like listening. We had to put down information and just get totally lost where we are. Put my letters down in the wrong section, and suddenly I'd get something like 20% instead of a usual, 70 or 80%. And the reason was not because I didn't know the material, but I was putting in my letters in the wrong sections. Okay, so final tip. All right, pay attention to section 4. It's the last section. It's got multiple choice questions, and the recording will go into complex topics. So be careful there. And finally, when you're transferring your answers, do it with caution. You've got 10 minutes, and try and double check as well. Okay, this goes back to accuracy and not putting the wrong answers in the wrong section, because that's just going to destroy your score. So I hope that helps you a lot. If you've got any suggestions for future IELTS podcast episodes, then contact me. Send me an email, IELTSPodcast@gmail.com or ben@IELTSPodcast.com. If you want a whole topic about multiple choice answers, then just send me an email. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. Also, if you're having any troubles with the writing, then have a look at sentenceguide.com. There's really easy step-by-step modules. Students are passing, and it's a good time to invest. And plus, it's about €92. It's probably going to go up again in 2016, so it's a good opportunity to get it. And also, if you compare it to failing the exam, then it's basically pays for itself. So it's a good investment, and it's a fantastic product, and I'm really proud of it, and I'm proud that students are passing. So if you need any help, contact me. I'd love to help you out. And also, I'd really appreciate it if you could give us an IELTS, if you could give us an iTunes review. That'd be fantastic. So all the best, good luck, keep studying, keep working. You're on the right track. Let's do this.